time for the Loco Sports Lowdown. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett, Wes Kerr, and Max Araj.
All right, Marcus. So are we gonna have to redo the intro or what? Like, are you just here now?
I feel like we're at that stage now, aren't we? I feel like we're there.
we just redid the intro, and you may have
that,
to.
So we're gonna have to add another one. No, just that wasn't even gonna be the way I opened the show tonight until I listened to that, and I was like, okay, how many nights in a row am I gonna have to say like, all right, we got everybody plus Marcus?
Yeah,
I'm the fourth wheel.
Yeah, and it's like seriously every night from here on out, it's gonna be like, and Marcus Walsh is also
just
That was with Max when he first came on.
It's the three of you guys and the WHHI contributor, either me or Kev.
Hey, because Libby is also, he's on the WHHI team as well.
And there he is. Speaking of,
how about the Seahawks? How about those Seahawks?
So what I was going to open the show with was, well, how the turntables have
turned again.
Yeah, it's a Michael Scott joke. Yeah. But yes, the tables have turned. Wes Kerr, what did your Seahawks get into in the nest tonight?
That was something special that I got to witness there with Hilton High, and they just overwhelmed Bluffton in that second half. The big men stepped up. They were hitting shots left and right, and Bluffton was just all out of sorts and did not show themselves the way that we have seen. Hilton had kind of set the tone and played tough, ferocious, Shane Brown-led defense. And the Seahawks made some shots. And it was a lot of Kyrie Bowman who just took over in that second half. 21 in the game, but he had 15 in just the second half alone. And then my guy, number one, Hunter.
Man, what a baller.
What a performance.
That kid's special.
Josh Hunter tonight with a team leading 22 unofficially. And absolutely was dominant with his size and his maneuverability in that second half, and just owned Bluffton down the stretch in that last half of this ball game. And Bluffton just didn't have an answer really until it was too late. I mean, Harry Skinner had an excellent game, but they really took away the effectiveness of Brandon White and Carnell Warren that we've seen. It looked so easy so many times for those two, but Hilton Head's big is the way they're able to match up against them and against other guys on this Bluffton team kind of took that away. And Hilton Head's defense really set that tone in the second half and really to the end of the first half, and that kind of fueled the offense. And from that point, it was all Seahawks. And Shane Brown, as we have seen before with the way and the style that he plays, Hilton had executed that absolutely perfectly tonight and took down the Bobcats in convincing fashion.
Tell you what, that's a huge game, and for
and
both
that's
teams.
Not all, folks. That's not all.
Right.
The May River Sharks with the stunner over Bishop England, 64-56. A monstrous win for the Sharks over a very good battling Bishop's team. And my goodness, this region is going to be one heck of a dogfight if there's any indication from what we have seen in these first couple of games. May River, your leaders 2-0, the only undefeated team. Yeah. May River Sharks.
The only one. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy.
Justin, we kind of mentioned it the other night. Like, these teams are going to have at least one loss in region play.
Well, yeah, and I mean,
it's going to be chaos.
It always is at home. You know, I mean, home losses matter. They count way more than road losses, and
that is true.
Right.
Vice versa count way more.
But everything was out of sorts tonight because they were beat up on a Bishop England program that has been pretty dominant.
But you're right. Like, this is exactly what we anticipated. That's why I said nobody's running the table in this region. I don't think.
Right.
Exactly. Like that was going to be an anomaly if that happened.
Like we all can agree. We all think Bluffton is one of the better teams in this region. But you just never know with this. And like tonight, May River beats out Bishop England tonight. I don't know if I thought it was going to be a close game between the two teams, but it really kind of wasn't tonight. And May River kind of looked like they were.
What it was? Yeah, it's pretty competitive.
Yeah, it was a competitive game, but May River with that win, I think is a big thing for them. They're obviously now undefeated. They're ahead in the region over everyone else. But I mean, just we kind of had to expect this with this region, no matter what. I mean, in any sport, you should really expect it in this region. It's just going to be competitive and complete chaos, and you just don't know in the end who may come out on top. And so tonight is kind of an example of that. Obviously, Bluffton's a very good team, but so is Hilton Head, and I think Hilton Head's starting to show everyone that they are a serious contender in this region, and they just proved that tonight.
And Wes, you were talking certainly about Leah Jackson with a huge comeback performance too on the girls' side. I was talking about what she did last year. Really didn't see much from her against Savannah Country Day when I saw them last week, but she's a big key as well.
Was she with them against Savannah Country Day?
I don't think she was. I think that's why.
I was going to say, the only reason I asked is because you mentioned not noticing her the other night, and then I was scrolling Instagram on LowcoSports today, and I saw that she was in Jamaica, and the post was just 2 days ago.
There you go.
And I don't know if she was still in Jamaica 2 days ago or if she posted those pictures later, but it seems like she might have been on vacation. So I don't know. That was a random. Yes, I should get to bed and get some rest. Long day tomorrow. We got a 7 a.m. bus for the wrestling, and
the early day for me tomorrow too. Yeah, it's going to be an early day for me tomorrow, too. Big day for.
By the way, we have another final in that same region. Colleton County 61, Beaufort 53.
Oh, wow.
And so, just.
Again, I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that the other night with Colleton County. We were like, they can compete. Yeah. It's whether or not they can finish. And, of course, they finished very well tonight against Beaufort. So that's a really good thing. I think Beaufort.
I have to correct the record here real quick. It's not T-Pain. It's Lil Jon. It's Lil Jon who's focused on his mental health now.
Okay.
Fair enough.
That's what I was talking about. Or is T-Pain? Maybe T-Pain's into it too. I don't know. All the gangster rappers are worried about self-help and mental health now. So that tells you where they are.
I think Beaufort boys team. I'm starting to lose a little faith in them. I know they are going to have a rough road this year. It's a very tough region. Obviously, we're seeing that tonight with Hilton Head beating out Bluffton, May River beating Bishop England. It's a very tough region, and I think Beaufort's going to have to figure out ways to get out some scrappy wins because it's a very tough region to play in. And Colleton County, wow, great dunk there by Cardinal Warren. I think Colleton County showed us the other night that they're going to be able to compete in this region. It's whether or not they can finish at the end of the game. And they certainly did that tonight.
I'm looking forward to seeing them on Tuesday night against Bluffton. I plan to be at both games on Tuesday night, but I still haven't seen the Bluffton girls yet. So really looking forward to checking out what Colleton County has to offer, as well as the Bluffton girls. I know it's a little bit of a down year for them, to say the least, but looking forward to that. If I can, fellas, that leads into the new and revamped WHHI basketball schedule. I had just talked to Jeremy Pope, our great head of production, our great director, and he said, changes abound. Apparently, the Hilton Head Prep BA game on the guys' side for this coming week will be played, but we are not going to broadcast it. as we were intending at first, just because we didn't know what was going on. And there are more attractive matchups anyway. Nothing against BA, but we were looking for some other matchups as well. So here's how it's going to break down.
Yeah.
Here's how it's going to break down. We are going to do 2 games on 2 Tuesdays. Tuesday, January 21st, we've got a doubleheader, and I'll explain that in a second. And Tuesday, February 11th, we have a doubleheader. So we will do John Paul II at Hilton Head Christian and May River at Hilton Head Prep. Kevin, Jeremy Pope, and I, and Larry Jacomot will be at one of those games each of those nights. Maria Soden will be filming the other game. It'll be brought back to the studio, and then Kevin and I will call it from the studio, much like we did during the football season. So we will only essentially be in 2 gyms. Okay. I'm guessing that we will probably be on the 21st at May River at Hilton Head Prep. Obviously, we'll decide this next week as a staff. And then Tuesday, February 11th, we've got Buford at Hilton Head and May River at Bluffton. I would think we would be at May River Bluffton, and then do Buford at Hilton Head and JP2 at HHCA via the studio, a few days later, whether it's a Tuesday, Friday kind of deal, or whatever works with studio availability with Kevin and I. And if Kevin has to work one of those days, Red Bruin's my first call to do color.
Yes.
So that's the way it goes. I guess there was just so much stuff going on with the schedule that Jeremy just called me, like I said, it was yesterday. And we talked for like 15 minutes through this and whatnot. So that's what we're going to end up doing. It'll still give me an ample opportunity to get into the gyms and see the teams that I haven't seen that I'm going to be calling. I've seen just about everybody. Need to see Buford, need to see the Bluffton girls. And that, I think, is it. I think I will check out HHCA again. I believe that they play Wilson Hall next Friday at HHCA. Yep. So I will definitely be there as well. So yeah, other than that, got a pretty good idea of what's going on, and so that's the way the schedule looked. We kind of tossed around a couple of different things as early as just a few days ago, and then JP and I just worked within this schedule again yesterday. So that's the way things are looking for our schedule, and should be great. And we'll still look to have, whether we're in studio or on location at the gyms, we will still look to have the second quarter guests. So I'll let you know where we are exactly, Max, for that JP2 HHCA game. But I'm thinking that we'll be in studio for that probably.
Yeah, and we'll figure it out as it comes along, of course. But
absolutely.
I'm just noticing here, watching this, as we get towards the end of the game, where Hilton Head went on that run to basically pull away and take the win. Bluffton made some bad mistakes and some pretty.
They turned it over. It was like a sequence in that game that we may have seen in the highlights. There was just like 2 or 3 positions in a row. They just turned it over very quickly, and Hilton had pounced on it and basically pick 6 kind of easy buckets in transition. And you just can't do that against a very athletic team that Hilton had presented.
Agreed.
It's easy to forget the talent that Hilton Head has developed. And I mean, you talk about guys like a Bowman and like Hunter, but we've also seen some excellent work from guys like Lucky Johnson and Jajay Wright. So they're deep. They are a very deep team. It's not like Bluffton where you have they've increased their depth, but I think Hilton is a little more deep when you just look at the bunch of those guys who can contribute and make those defensive plays and turn into offense. And so that's the tough part when you're matched up against these Seahawks. Shane Brown, and as we've seen so many different years in this era where he's coached at Hilton Head, they can throw a lot at you, and it is hard to kind of find a way to solve them at times. And I mean, give credit to that coaching staff, and Shane Brown knows how to win this region. There's no doubt about that.
He's Wright is a great player, and he was definitely correct when when I saw them against Richmond Hill a few weeks back, he was absolutely sensational that night, especially in the first half. I think he had like 14 points in the first half of that ball game. Yeah, Wes, you nailed it on the head. You hit it on the head that this Hilton Head team, while they're not as explosive, especially with the inside game on offense, they are deep and they are really, really effective. I'm looking forward to seeing them against Beaufort and seeing what they can do in that matchup.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's going to be one of the things Bluffton's going to need to work on is not making turnovers like that, especially in key moments in the game. And that definitely showed tonight. And especially, it's not just going to be Hilton Head that's going to take advantage of those turnovers. Any team in this region is going to be able to take advantage of that. Even Beaufort, who's been on a bit of the downside this year. And
that's a trap game against Carleton.
Yeah.
That's going to be a great ball game on Tuesday. That might actually be.
Absolutely.
Actually, that probably May River Hilton. That's probably the game of the.
And let me tell you though, May River's the only undefeated team, but Carleton should be. They took a 4-point lead in that fourth quarter the other night, and I'm telling you, if they just kept playing the game they've been playing in that third quarter, they would have won it. They started kind of trying to run clock and not attack the basket, and they kind of got out of their game and let May River sneak back and win that game. But Carleton is dangerous. I'm telling you right now.
And that's the thing. We've been talking about this. Expect this region to be complete chaos, and it's showing. It showed tonight. But
you're right. Beaufort's going to get somebody one of these nights.
Yes, absolutely. Like I know Beaufort's been on a bit of the downside as of late, but one of these nights they're going to shock someone. And Colleton County, I think, is going to be the party pooper in this region. To be honest with you, because nobody's going to expect them to be that team that beats you. But the way they've been playing as of late, I know they had a really close game the other night and it didn't go their way. But from what I'm seeing right now, Colleton County is one of those teams where when they're playing well, they're going to be dangerous against any team, and that includes Bluffton. We all really like Bluffton and the way they've been playing as of late, and this is their first loss in 12 games.
It's been a while.
It's been a minute since they've lost the game. But we're going to have to expect this in this region because you just never know who's going to come out on top because all these teams are just so talented and, at times evenly matched, believe it or not.
I like how Marcus, kind of compared it to football because it looks very
similar. It is. Yeah, absolutely it is. But I feel like since I've hopped onto this show, I feel like this region is always just chaos, no matter what.
Some years it hasn't, though. Some years it hasn't. I mean,
but as of lately, as of recently,
you knew which team was going to go undefeated, which team was going to lose 2, which team was going to lose 4.
As of lately, I'm saying, lately, it just hasn't been that case. You just don't know who's going to come out on top, and that's been the case in football this year. And, we didn't really know until the very last, couple weeks of football who was going to come out on top of this region. For basketball, I have a feeling it's going to be
for grabs, especially on the guys' side. It is completely up for grabs. I mean, at this point, it's anyone's to win.
I think, because I think for the girls right now, I think Bishop England's kind of that favorite, and then everybody else is following them.
They are looking like the favorites. We haven't played Beaufort yet, but I don't think Beaufort's on the same level as Bishop England. I don't either. I think Bishop England is the clear favorite. Unfortunately for the Lowco teams, Bishop England looks.
So the thing that will make that region chaotic is who comes in second after Bishop England, and there's a couple teams that are going to be vying for that second spot, including Beaufort and May River.
I'm not ready for Beaufort to concede the top spot to Bishop England yet either. I'm just not. I think
you don't think so?
I'm not ready to concede it. I mean,
okay, it's early. It's definitely early. I will give you that. It is very early.
I want to see them play before I just say Bishop England's better than Beaufort because I think Beaufort's pretty dang good. I really do. They're getting better every single time they play. Carleton is the Dookie in the punch bowl.
by the way,
party pooper.
Texas
make the playoffs. Yes. Maybe.
Texas
They only got to beat like one team.
Yeah, maybe Texas intercepted a pass from Will Howard, and they've got the ball with 11:20 to go in the third.
Yeah, that's right. We forgot to mention there's also a college football playoff game on tonight.
And a big one.
Yep.
Oh, wait.
By the way, congratulations to Jalen Sneed, Fighting Irish.
Notre Dame. Yes. Very good.
Cheer for old Notre Dame.
And not only that, Jalen Sneed setting up the
key.
game deciding basically interception.
So awesome.
The pressure that forced the pick that set up the kick that sent the Irish to the netty.
He's been a key player for them as of the last couple weeks, or really all season long. He's been one of their key players, and I can't wait for him to really shine, hopefully in the national championship next week, but also next season. Because believe it or not, he's probably going to be there he's only a sophomore, isn't he?
He's got 2 years of eligibility left, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. He's a sophomore this year.
He's
that's crazy.
Redshirt sophomore, basically.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. That's crazy to think about that. He's got basically 2 more years of eligibility left.
Man, you ain't kidding about this. If Buford had Allie Dennison playing, she was a difference maker.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But they're strong. They're strong. Those young guards, and they're going to be good for a while if those guards stay there. They're going to be tough. So yeah, don't sleep on them at all. Our guy Fish was impressed with Kyrese Bowman tonight. He said Kyrese a bucket.
By the way, with that Notre Dame team, Marcus Freeman will be the first African American head coach to be at an FBS national championship game, which I think is so great. And they asked him about that last night. And,
he was like,
"This dude is a team man. He cares about his team more than himself, and that's really showing in this playoffs with the Notre Dame team, because ever since that Northern Illinois loss at home in week 2, they have been on a tear, and it's
84 days ago.
Yeah, first national championship game appearance in over a decade. So this team is special, and they're going to give whoever they face a run for their money.
This one will be a lot better than the last one against Alabama. Like I mentioned the other night, that game was over about as soon as it started.
Yeah.
Back in 2012, 13, or whatever that was.
It's funny you mentioned that. I was watching an interview with one of those players from Notre Dame. I can't remember who it was. But they were doing an interview talking about that game against Alabama, and he basically said that game was over the moment they saw Alabama coming through the tunnel to get out onto the field. Yeah. They just looked at them. They're like, these dudes are different, man. They are some different animals. And the guy was like, yeah, we knew immediately the moment they walked by us in the tunnels that we were done for. So it's just funny to think about. But yeah, it's been since that game.
That night.
They have not been back to the national championship since. They've gotten close once. They were in the semifinals for the playoffs a couple years ago. But they have not gotten to the national championship game since 2013, so over a decade. So this is a big game for Notre Dame. I'm very excited to see Marcus Freeman finally, getting some respect, because he's had some tough losses over the last couple of years against teams like Marshall and Northern Illinois. But he's really kicked this team into high gear, and I think after that Northern Illinois loss, it flipped the switch for this team to say, yeah, no, we're not doing that again. And they've definitely shown everyone that they're a team to be reckoned with. And, of course, now they're in the national championship game against possibly either Ohio State or Texas. Good game going on, by the way, for that one as well.
So and I think Brian Kelly's probably crying in his gumbo right now.
You know what's so funny? You mentioned that. I saw Brian Kelly's press conference when he became the head coach for LSU. He's like, I came here because the capability of winning championships. And I'm like, dude, Notre Dame has that too. It's just
he's such a tool.
He can't coach. Brian Kelly can't coach. Sorry.
Let me tell you, there's some people that you meet them in person and the smarm is so thick dripping off of them that you're just like, oh my God, how did anyone not see this?
He's such a tool.
Brian Kelly fit the bill for me. I mean, he just felt like a used car salesman to me.
Grand Valley State, Cincinnati, Notre Dame, LSU.
Yeah.
Did I forget anybody? It's all the same.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It's so funny. It's so funny now to see it. It's so funny. I feel bad for LSU fans that they got to deal with this dude. But
yes,
anyway, also Coach Franklin for Penn State had to have been beside himself last night after how that went down at the end. And I feel bad for him because he
was crying in his ice cream from Penn State at the creamery or whatever it's called.
Well, I feel bad for him.
Sticky buns too.
I feel bad for him, but I don't feel bad for him at the same time because
I don't feel bad for him at all.
He sometimes just talks some nonsense, and I can't understand.
That's why I don't feel bad.
I don't feel bad for him either. He's a clown. Yeah.
Not only can he not win the big game,
I'm just glad we don't have to see a rematch. We've already seen Penn State, Ohio State, and probably wasn't a good game, but
but you don't want to see an all Big Ten for a national.
Right? What was the fun of that? I mean, I guess
we saw it last year.
Well, I know, but we've seen that with
Michigan
Alabama
and Washington.
Yeah, but we've seen that with Alabama and Georgia, though.
All Big Ten.
We saw that with Alabama and Georgia, and
Alabama and LSU.
The first time they did it, it was a fantastic game between Alabama and Georgia that ended in a tremendous way. It couldn't have gone better for a national championship game for Alabama to win in overtime. As much as I hate Alabama, I can't deny it was a great game. But we don't want to see one conference playing each other for a national championship. I'm sorry, I don't like the idea of that. So it's it's what it is.
I like this. It's not Franklin's fault. They just got nuked.
Yeah, they did get nuked.
Yes, they did.
So
freaking lootly.
Yeah, it was just a bad throw by Drew Aller, but he was also getting pressured by
Boy. Did I miss a Manti Te'o reference?
Yeah.
Did we talk?
That's a ways back.
Man, yeah, but the Manti Te'o catfishing story was
goodness.
One of the highlights.
That was crazy.
That was wild.
That was one of the craziest stories to follow ever. Yes, that is a fact. Did y'all know that the highest paid public employee in most states is the state college football coach? Yeah, by a long shot. And then there's a bunch of other coaches up there at the top too. But then again, I don't know. I went to football coaches, some of the other government officials. So.
It's what it is. So big win for Notre Dame. I'm very happy to see Notre Dame get in. I know I'm not the biggest fan of Notre Dame, but to see them finally succeeding is really great. And plus, one of our very own here in the Loco is getting to play for a national championship. So cool.
I've always been a straight up hater, but Marcus Freeman and Jalen Snead have changed that for me.
I love Marcus Freeman. I loved him when he first came when he first became the head coach for Notre Dame. He's a great guy.
He was great at Ohio State too.
He's the real deal.
Yeah, he was.
He did a great job at Ohio State as well. He's a great coach.
The trash mutt as a daughter. The trash mutt. His daughter was also part of a catfishing scheme, much like Manti Te'o. The trash mutt is a fictional character from SNL. And he's been through a lot, but don't believe it.
Great to see Notre Dame. That was a great football game last night too. Very exciting game to watch.
We are missing just a couple scores, but I have most of them scrolling now.
I see that.
And I should also do some sponsors. Presenting sponsor is the all-star sponsor of LowcoSports, Mickelson Law Firm. Our original sponsor, been with us since 2017 and still with us and supporting us every step of the way. We appreciate them. If you have any legal needs, you can call in. I got to stop looking at the comments while I'm reading the ads. If you have any legal needs, you can call in Mickelson Law Firm. They're our official real estate closing attorney and the presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. We've also got our MVP sponsors. We got Base Hit Life, our official baseball and softball apparel partner. They've got great styles on basehitlife.com. So if you want to take your game to the next level and play the base hit life, live your best base hit life at basehitlife.com. I'm totally discombobulated. We got the homegrown home inspections, official home inspectors. They're the best in the Loco. They're going to check things out for you, make sure it's good to go. And if you're building a new home, they'll check on it every step of the way with their face inspection and make sure it's built right with homegrown home inspections. Hospice Care of the Low Country is now part of Mirasol Health. providing even more benefits for the community and compassionate care for life's most challenging moments. And you can find out more about the Lowco and its history, its appeal at the USCB Center for Low Country Hospitality Education. Beautiful campus on Hilton Head Island, where they've got all kinds of great programming. So go check them out. That's our MVP sponsors and our presenting sponsor. So now you guys can talk again.
I did see former head coach Nick Saban has been inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame.
Saw that. That's really cool.
So congratulations to one of the greatest coaches in college football history. Big man.
But no, I was saying that I have gathered most of the scores. We're missing a couple. They are scrolling across the bottom of your screen if you're watching not double screen in this football game, which is 14-7 midway through the third quarter with Texas in possession. Girls side, this one hurts to even read. Oceanside 58, Battery Creek 4.
Wow.
With safeties for the Dolphins. Buford Buzzard, Colleton County 59-32, as previously mentioned. Hilton Head 42-29 over Bluffton. Bishop England 55-30 over May River. Then we had some postponements. Bridges at Barnwell, Hampton at Lake Marion, Whale Branch at Edisto, Allendale at Ridgeland, Hardyville at Denmark, JP2 at Trinity, and Hilton Head Prep at St. John's Christian, all postponed. And the Cross girls beat Andrew Jackson 50-35.
Yeah, my guess would be everyone else's guess is because it snowed a little bit this morning. Up in those areas.
It's clear why it's postponed, especially north of here. It's pretty.
Believe it or not,
here right now it's starting to. It's raining and we're definitely in that danger zone of temperatures. We're on the highway to the danger zone, where
great reference.
Freezing.
It's a mess.
I'll tell you what,
that was for Libby, really, because we made a couple.
I know some Kenny Loggins.
I'll tell you what,
not that young.
Classic. That's a classic. Top Gun. One of the greatest 80s movies.
Yeah.
By the way, I will say, mentioning that, going over the Broad River Bridge, coming home tonight from Beaufort was as scary as could possibly be because you just didn't know if the roads were a little bit on the slicker side of things as it was raining down going over the bridge. So
it do be like
it was actually pouring out there too. I was kind of scared. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't blame you.
Anyway, I also have a big day tomorrow morning as we have the start of week 2 of Beaufort County Parks and Recs basketball getting underway. Week with a big slate of games tomorrow at our Lynn Brown Gymnasium as well as our Burton Walls facilities as well. So going to be a big day tomorrow.
We'll be playing at the Boys and Girls Club. Back in the day at that's where we played recreational games at the Boys and Girls Club on Hilton Head.
Yep, that's right.
Saturday mornings.
And so it's gonna be a lot of fun tomorrow, and I'm excited, especially to see parents freaking out over a 4 to 6 year old girls or boys basketball game. So you never know. And I'm like, what are you doing? Here's the thing. They'll scream that. Here's the thing. They'll scream that, yet we don't have referees for those games. The coaches are basically refereeing the games.
Right.
So there's no point
pull
in
his
having a
pants down.
If the parents are freaking out, I'm like, what?
You need to be calling no fouls in them little kid games.
No,
right.
But they don't. They don't. We tell them not to. We tell them just take the kid aside, tell them you're not supposed to do that, and then carry on, But anyway.
All right, so I've got boys scores too. How about that? And Fish coming through in the text, getting me the ones I'm missing. All right, so we got another rough one for Battery for the Crick. Oceanside 62-35 on the boys' side. As mentioned,
that region
one.
That's a one heck of a tough region.
Brutal. If you think the 4A region's tough, that 3A region might be worse.
And schedule. I mean, they're playing well in the non-region part, but this 3A region is no joke.
I think when they lost Ethan Cox due to injury, I think that's when it started becoming a bit of
I
an
don't know
issue
if he
for
was
Petty.
back, if he's back yet or not. I know he was supposed to be back.
Don't know if he is.
Can play, but
I don't know if
we'll
he
see.
is. We'll
But
find
anyway,
out.
Oceanside smokes them. Colleton, as mentioned, 61-53 over Beaufort. Hilton Head 65-55 over Bluffton. May River 64-56 over Bishop England. A bunch of postponements, as mentioned before, the same ones as the girls. What a coincidence. But we had two others. Jackson rallies from a halftime deficit to beat Cross Schools 78-69, and Thomas Hayward 63-57 over Bethesda. That's a really nice win for
Interesting.
Yeah,
very interesting.
Nice win for the Rebels over there. And Bethesda's a little down, but that's still never easy to beat that Blazers team. So big props to Thomas Hayward.
Yeah,
and Hayward could be, what are they 2A or 1A in basketball?
They're 3A, I believe, right?
3A?
No, they're 2A.
Okay.
No, they're 3A, aren't they?
They're 3A.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think they're 3A.
They're in the same region as Hilton Head Prep then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not. They're in the 2A region with Cross, Holy Trinity, Andrew Jackson.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if they're 2A,
that's what I was thinking.
I think they got a chance, and I mean, they got a chance to be interested in that region, in that classification in 2A. I have to
go
through
Andrew Jackson, Thomas Hayward might be an interesting game.
Yeah, I mean
that could be an interesting matchup.
Not to really compete in that classification.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I'm glad that Cross is getting back rolling with that girls program.
Yeah, I am
the success that they had last year and everything. I mean, that was really unfortunate, but good stuff that they're getting back rolling, and Doc's got them going in the right direction.
Fantastic to see. He was on the brink for a while.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that.
The little kids' highlights were great.
I had to bring a little bit of joy into this world. I had to. It was a tough show, but it's a great way to end watching kids.
I love watching little kid sports. I love little kid baseball. I love when we cover in the
little
summer.
kids playing baseball.
I will say I had a blast at that World Series that me and Justin were at when we were in Walterboro for baseball this past summer. That was a blast to be there and take pictures and videos and stuff like that. It was a blast because it's so fun watching those kids learning how to play baseball the proper way. So it's always great. It's always great to see kids those ages learning sports and figuring out how to play properly. And basketball, they're going to get there when they get to the 7 to 8 year olds. They're going to start learning that stuff for real. But to see the 4 to 6 year olds, it's truly something special.
3:45 left, third quarter, still 14-7 Ohio State over Texas.
That's a great game. Good
Not
defensive game.
anymore.
Uh-oh.
I've seen the future.
Yes, you do. A couple of people see the future before I do.
Don't spoil.
Oh no!
Seen it.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, wow.
We are an extra point away from a tie ball game. I was
they tied it.
I was expecting an interception when you said that. And Jaden Blue's second touchdown of the ball game, and Texas, who really it looked like at times they were about to fall out of this game. They are an extra point away from tying it up. Ohio State on their heels right now. 3:12 to go in the third quarter, and we are all tied up at the.
Can I just say
it happened after the tip? I just saw the tip near the line of scrimmage.
Can I just say these might be the two best semifinals you could ask for?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there it is. Oh, Jiminy Christmas. He's wide open.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah, he was wide open.
What?
Fired up.
Yikes.
I
would say a lot worse if I wasn't on a podcast right now. I'll just tell you. I mean, I bleed scarlet and gray.
Yeah, we know what's going on with him. We had him
on here. Ohio State wins. They put down the horns.
Yeah, right.
Oh man! I'll always remember when
this has been a fun one, no doubt.
I'll always remember when Alabama did that, and Nick Saban was like, "Knock it off," and he screamed it at his players. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
A couple of years ago,
absolutely going nuts at his players for putting the horns down.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I don't blame him for that. I'm not the biggest fan of who. I understand that he.
I'm
did
not
what he
either.
did. I wasn't a huge fan of him as a football coach. I tell you what, I love him on College Game Day though. He's so entertaining.
He's terrific.
He's fantastic.
You want to watch the girls' highlights from Beaufort's own? Hilton Head
yeah, please.
Yeah, let's do it.
Marcus calling out a score sounds like the past because his voice belongs to the 1950s crew. Marcus got gold to the dude who met at a crossroads.
This was the Leah Jackson.
The gold against your soul. I play it better than you. Yeah, go ahead.
This was the Leah Jackson show. She was on one tonight, especially when we got to the second half. I mean, just looked seamless the way that she was getting to the rim and playing some outstanding offensive basketball on that. Her size was so important, but she just looked so calm out there when she was getting those buckets late. But this Seahawks team, I think they grew up a lot with having Linda Young, on the sidelines for most of this game. I think Leah Jackson grew a lot, but they've got some others. Amaya Roten, another part of that team last year, has really been important.
He was great against Savannah Country Day when I saw her last week.
Ken Cooch has been a nice shooter for them. Richard, a really versatile player who can, provide some explosiveness at times and can hit some shots from the line. But Bluffton just couldn't get much going with Brown in terms of her offense. But she was vicious on the defensive side. She was blocking shots left and right. And unfortunately for Bluffton, they really didn't have much else to really get the spark going offensively. But Hilton Head was able to knock down some shots. Pancook hit a big three early. Roden made the triple as well. And then it was Leah Jackson from that point on as the Seahawks really played a strong offensive game late and shut down what the Bobcats were trying to do on the Seahawks end. And I love the way that Russell Raniszewski has continue to grow this program because the Seahawks have some tremendous playmakers and they have some gritty players that, kind of fly under the radar that will make plays for you and that will get stops defensively. Roten, I've always liked watching her play. She can knock it down from deep when you don't expect it. She's got a nice shot. But, just great movement off the ball. Myra Roten, and a lot of these other girls are really starting to find the flow of this offense. Beautiful jump shot right there as the Seahawks cement their lead heading into the halftime break. And this Hilton Head team is going to be one to watch going forward. I'm impressed by the way that they composed. They showed themselves and were composed throughout a good part of this game. Great passing, and Leah Jackson was at the forefront. We talked a lot about her defensive rebound, but her offense was on another level tonight. I mean, just some beautiful moves to the hoop.
Nice move there. Goodness.
Yeah, that didn't go, but she had a couple.
It was a beautiful take.
Yeah, yep.
I love seeing crisp ball movement.
Yeah, that was
looking for the really good shot.
That was a big story of the night for Hilton Head. They were really crisp and just made the right passes on offense. Myra Brown, not her best night in terms of her offense, but she was a pest defensively for Bluffton. She made it difficult at times, but Seahawks really started to have their way in the second half. And like I said, it was pretty much all Leah Jackson. She just found her shot and she was cooking, although others as well stepped in at times. But there's Jackson again to pick up the loose change, put that one in.
She's here. She's there. She's everything.
Yes, Ted Lasso.
Yep, Roy Kent.
Yep.
By the way, Max, have you revealed on air that you are sitting in Siberia while you?
Yeah, I haven't really shared that with anyone except for you guys, I guess. So I'm currently
I thought
sitting.
people might wonder why you like have a blanket on your lap and
Yeah. So I'm currently
know.
sitting in the office that we added on to my parents' house years ago, and my parents decided not to add AC or heat or anything in here. So it's about as cold as it is outside right now. I think it's about 10 degrees warmer in here than it is outside right now, but it's still in the 40s probably in here.
It's
so
nice
I got
to
my
be shielded from
I got
the
my slippers on.
precipitation.
I got my big old blanket, my big old comfortable Clemson Tigers blanket. And I am trying to stay as warm as possible. I'm staying warm right now, but who knows what happens in the next like 30 minutes.
The space heater.
The only thing that you're missing is a space heater and either a cup of hot chocolate or nighty night tea.
I will say this to make
or
matters
a bonfire.
Worse, to make matters to make matters worse tonight, as I'm heading home, I realized the heater in my car had decided to stop working. So it was in the 30s.
Horrible.
I could see my breath in my car as I was heading home from Buford. And so I've had a rough one today. It's been difficult staying warm. So
okay, we really do got to start a GoFundMe for Max's car heater.
I'm getting my car fixed on Monday because I couldn't find another day to get it done. So Monday morning.
It'll be spring by Monday.
I also tried to open the hood of my car this morning, and of course, my car, being the car that it is, decided it didn't want to open the hood when I tried to open it. So that's another thing that's going for me as well. Is that I can't even open the hood of my car to check and make sure I actually have oil in the car as well as coolant. So that's always great to.
That's not true.
If y'all could start a GoFundMe page to get a new car, that would be great.
Yeah,
hey, if there are any sponsors, by the way, any dealerships in this area that would be interested in sponsoring LowcoSports, please hit us up. If it gets me a discount towards a new car, I'm totally for it. 100%. Anyway.
So we have a lot.
I was going to ask.
Oh, we got Javon with the.
Marcus Misa wants you to do a new voiceover for the Lowdown intro. Leah Jackson's second half summary was, I understand it now. She started throwing gummy bears and water bottles from half court.
We need to do like ESPN radio stuff for the intro. It'd be like, this is the LowcoSports Lowdown.
Chris Ball Movement is the dad band we need to invent.
Yeah,
I like it. That's a good dad band name.
Good one.
Get a heat and air sponsor to get in.
By the way, it's not going to be spring on Monday. It's still going to be pretty cold throughout next week, which is surprising. Normally, you have those times in the winter where it gets like 60 degrees. That hasn't happened so far.
Yeah. Hot chocolate.
Max, if you don't mind me asking, where do you go to get your car fixed?
I go out to Hardyville. Auto Doctors out in Hardyville.
The Falcons hat is doing a lot of work today. Yeah, come to the Ville, baby.
I got a good spot.
Javon wants you to know that you sent him. He wants you to know that he sang tonight. Lisa has an idea to warm you up. Break down Skiza refereeing.
Oh God, could I?
I love the cover of This Girl's on Fire back in the volleyball season.
Let's talk credit. What are you talking about, Kevin? I got great credit.
I think he's talking about. I think he's talking about the car dealer. Dealer. Let's talk credit.
Yeah, there we go.
Friday night concert at the Nest. All right, we're all caught up.
There we go. The craziness of Misa Garzone and Kevin Levy here on our show.
Welcome to the comments.
I will say, I could talk for hours about Skiza refereeing because for me, I had to deal with 8 years of that crap, and I don't ever want to deal with it again. Just letting y'all know that.
Well, I'll tell you, it ain't great anywhere really, but it's better. I will say it is significantly better this year than it was for a few years. Like during and right after COVID, it was because a bunch of veteran guys shut it down.
They didn't show up.
I will say this. Even before COVID, when I had to deal with the umpires for Skiza games, they sucked. I'm not like I don't like saying this about refs and umpires and stuff like that. They straight up.
A lot of them are struggling. A lot of them are.
You know it's bad when an umpire calls a strike above your eyes. Like that's how bad it is.
That's like
the worst
that's
is when
like
it
Angel
bounces in front of the
Hernandez.
plate and comes across at the knees and they call it a strike. But that was in 10U.
Or who forget that clip that we showed of I'm trying to remember who the teams were this past baseball season where the umpire called a catcher's interference when he went to go and grab the ball, and we all watched it and we were like, did he call a catcher's interference there? And I was like, dude, that is the worst call. That's a great way to end the game. Anyway, yeah, like Misa said, I could go on for Skeezer refereeing all night long. Just saying.
Yeah, he likes to call it a hairy ball.
Yes.
Yeah, Livs be doing that. Livs be making comments while you're trying to read the ads. Make you look like a fool. Javon sings the tune to the intro. Marcus does the voiceover. Libby showcases his ball handle. Let's don't evoke any names. I don't want to. I don't want to draw the ire.
Any specific people, come on.
I don't want to draw the ire of the people of Facebook.
Oh, come on, Kevin. Come on, man.
Not today.
You're better than that.
It's too cold for that. No, I
You're
mean,
better, man. It is too cold for that. I'm not gonna lie. It is too cold for that today. Too
cold for all that.
Anyway.
Let me shout out some more sponsors. We got the varsity sponsors: DDS Web Design, building, hosting, maintaining websites for businesses and nonprofits to get results. So DDSHHI.com is the place to find them if you need to get found online. Parker Law Group has legal needs across Colleton, Hampton, and Jasper counties on a lockdown, helping us keep an eye on the Lowco frontier and more deserving teams and student athletes out that way. Dr. Ambrose Cole, our official chiropractor, you can find him at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton, and he'll get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. And Reverence Wrestling Club, the official wrestling sponsor of LowcoSports and presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind. Our wrestling podcast will be coming back around with a new episode soon, I'm sure. We got plenty to talk about, especially after tomorrow, JV and middle school first round of state qualifying. It's going to be tough too, man, because it's Beaufort, Colleton, and Dorchester counties, and Dorchester picks up Ashley Ridge, Somerville, Cane Bay, all those middle schools are zoned for all that. So it's brutal. It's going to be a tough battle tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Be ready for war, boys.
Yeah.
Be ready.
Sounds like it.
Got the handles.
Be ready.
I used them.
They played that. They play the time of the Falcons games, or they played that again when they played the Panthers.
Yep. You're right, Bluffton.
Dude, we rock it in the ATL, man. When that music starts playing, let me tell you, when that music starts playing at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, we go rock into that
song. I always rock to it. Sam looks at me like, "What are you doing? You're just a big nerd."
Marcus,
but you gotta get low and sway too, right?
Marcus, when you're at a Falcons game and that music starts playing, the entire stadium gets up for that song.
I have absolutely no doubt. I actually haven't been to the.
Apparently, they play it for.
You haven't?
Which isn't quite as new yet. No, not yet.
Oh man, dude, that's what we got to do one year. Like next year, like all of us go out to a Falcons game on a Sunday or something like that. That would be fun. It is such a good
I actually wouldn't mind going to a soccer game there, Atlanta United.
Dude, I have not been to an Atlanta United game yet. That is on my list of things to do. Is go to an Atlanta United game because they go crazy for those games.
You two and Misa, Loco FC road trip.
Yeah,
dude, Misa, I'm down if we do that. Totally.
That'll be.
They sell out. I think they've sold out almost every game since they first started playing soccer games there, and they've had like the most attendance out of any soccer team in the world. Like they're up in the top 5 for like amount of people that show up for these games and stuff. Like with teams like Barcelona and Real Madrid and all those big name clubs, they're like right up there with attendance. It's crazy.
Awesome.
But they love soccer in Atlanta. Let me tell you, they
down. You need a sponsor, and you can take his car.
Yes, all right, cool.
The hood opens.
By the way, for any of you watching, I'm looking to bring in a sponsor, and I've had a couple that have bowed out on me. So I'm still looking for some local businesses that are interested in sponsoring us here at LowcoSports. That maybe want to keep sponsoring the LowcoSports media, covering the high school sports scene. So
anyone who would like to do that.
Anyone who wants to do it, please feel free to contact me or Justin or Wes, man. We will be more than happy to get you guys on.
Yes, sir.
Especially those who would potentially have a space heater like Misa Garzone just posted in the comments. Anyway.
Yeah. That's right. It's a space heater. We could probably scrounge up enough money to get you a space heater, even without a
space heater's not the most expensive thing in the world, so I think I'll be okay buying one of those.
Ohio State gets it back with 14:47 to play.
Another game. Fantastic.
That's a defensive game, man.
I'll tell you what, this round has made up for the clunkers in the first two rounds. For sure.
Yeah.
It's
no doubt.
I didn't like how the top like four teams all got bowed out, when they first started playing, but I'm okay with it because of how these last two games have ended up, with Notre Dame and Notre Dame and Penn State was a fantastic game.
The scene putting Arizona State and Boise State ahead of some of the other teams, I think that could have. I think if the playoff does one thing differently next year, it's maybe just the top two teams, because you can't just give the top four seeds all the conference champions. You have to give them the four best teams in the country.
I would have loved to see Arizona State win in overtime against Texas, but I don't think if they won, we would get a game like we are getting right now. With
absolutely not.
No,
nothing against Arizona State, but
maybe, but probably not.
Yeah,
and I'll say this, and we talk about this all the time, especially with playoffs in different sports. A lot of the time when you talk about like the four best teams and four best deserving or any of that, it's what are you doing now?
Right.
And you can make an argument that Ohio State, based off their record, has been a pretty good, I won't say even a really good team because they've had lapses in judgment, but they've been a pretty good team, and they're obviously getting hot at the right time ever since the Michigan loss. Notre Dame with the one blip, in week 2, they've been terrific ever since. Obviously, Penn State, kind of similar to Ohio State with the fact that they're both in the Big Ten, a very good team overall. Obviously, didn't get it done tonight, and then last night, and then Texas, last year getting to the semis against Washington and getting beat, but I was big on them last year and big on them this year with the fact that they got to the SEC championship again against Georgia.
Yeah, they also lost to Georgia twice this year. We should mention their two losses.
That's very true. Yeah,
that's right. that they've all got a similar kind of story going into this. They lost games that maybe were, like in Texas's case, Georgia's a very good team, obviously, and Texas is too, but Georgia's gotten the better of them the last two times, and we didn't know how far Texas would get if they ended up having to play Georgia for whatever reason, But for Notre Dame, that loss against Northern Illinois,
it's just incredible to see.
Yeah, they flipped a switch the moment they lost that game. They flipped a switch.
And here's the thing: in other years in the past, when you lost against Northern Illinois, you didn't have a chance to get in the.
You're done.
Yeah, well, that was Notre Dame last year. They lost to Marshall last year. And the moment they lost to Marshall, their chances of making playoffs were gone.
Well, even Will was talking about like in the BCS era, where only the top two teams made it. So you basically had to go undefeated to make it to the championship game. And so now, I think the playoff has accomplished a couple of things, but I think the best teams, earn their. It's a war of attrition. You got to play like 16 games. Like now, it's great. Like it's a full like NFL like schedule. Like 15 if you got the bye, but a lot of these teams play 16 because they didn't get the bye. So it's crazy just to see.
Yeah, of course. I think the other thing is this is probably one of the better Notre Dame teams I have seen in a really long time. Like they had an okay team last year, but this is the first really truly good Notre Dame team I've seen since that national championship appearance they had against Alabama. It's been a while since I've seen a Notre Dame team this talented.
I was just going to say that because that team that faced Alabama, it went through some lumps. It had some tough games. They had, I believe, one loss that year going into the Alabama game, and they had their moments, but they were a grind it, fight it out team. I was just talking about, and we were talking about the tough moments with Brian Kelly and how, just him being who he truly is has factored in everywhere he's been. But that was in the heyday of his tenure, his good tenure at Notre Dame, and a lot of it had to do certainly with the players that he had on that championship team. But this Notre Dame team this year, and even the team last year, definitely a little bit better. It helps when you have a little bit better coaching and certainly better character.
Yeah, this is also a Notre Dame team that's got a young core too. Like you think about it, their running back Jeremiah Love, he's only a sophomore. Like he's been an absolute dog for them this year. Oh, hello.
He is absolutely.
Yeah, he's an animal, and he's only a sophomore. They have another year left in Jeremiah Love. This is a young core that's going to be even better next year with players returning like Jalen Sneed, Jeremiah Love. I'm interested to see who they'll have at quarterback next year, but we'll get there when we get there. They usually bring in someone from the transfer portal, so you never know. But this is one of the better, more talented Notre Dame teams I have seen in quite some time. So I'm very excited to see what the future is with Marcus Freeman as their head coach, and what a coach to have for Notre Dame.
I'm gonna make a wild prediction right now.
Oh no!
Sam just came in, and she was kind of pointing towards the TV, saying, "Look at this." And there was a deep ball from Ohio State that got deflected. And she looks at the TV and she kind of looks back at me and she says, "Do your job." I'm turning her into a football fan and a football person, one play at a time. In a couple of years, she's going to join me on this podcast and she's going to start breaking down some football. I can just tell.
All right,
you're more than willing to join us for the Falcons game next year.
I have at some point talked about the time that I went to cover the Hilton Head Celebrity Golf Tournament, and I was going to write about Johnny Bench, and then the man met me on my way out of the clubhouse and told me that Johnny Bench was an asshole, and I ended up. That's not what I wrote about, but he told me Johnny Bench was an asshole because he wouldn't sign his thing without charging him, and so then I ended up writing a story about why some athletes do or don't sign and why some charge and all that kind of stuff. But regardless, anyway, I tell you about that because that day was the day that my wife, for the first time that I was aware of, was more excited about college football Christmas than I was, and was like calling me at the golf course, like, "Oh my God, TCU's up on Oklahoma." And I was like, "All right, I've done it. I've done it."
Mission
she was
complete.
Not really that much of a sporty person,
That's
but
great.
we got her.
The mission has been completed, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly. I'm very close, I believe, to getting the Javon Sings.
Oh, please! We've already seen one of him this year. Just letting everyone know, we already did see one of him this year, and we are planning to make a clip of that whenever we need it. Just know that. It's just, this is really the first playoffs, and I have a feeling that national championship game, no matter who ends up playing Notre Dame, is going to be so much fun to watch.
Absolutely.
The way Notre Dame's been playing, and if Ohio State decides to win this game, if they do, it's going to be a great game between two teams. I have a feeling Ohio State would have the edge over Notre Dame, but the way that Notre Dame defense has been playing against Ohio State, not Ohio State, but anyone they've been playing, it's going to be a fun game to watch.
They shut down. They did a great job shutting down Georgia.
Yeah, they did.
Georgia, and they continued it just this past night to knock off State. I mean, you got to play that championship level elite defense this time of year, and they're showing that. And so sometimes a loss like that to Northern Illinois, it's the best thing that you could possibly hope for if you're.
I'm going to coach some defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Georgia,
Jalen Sneed and what he did, because that play basically won them the game. All their other plays, I mean, obviously the kicker made the field goal at the end, but I mean, it was looking like Penn State had a chance to go on that game-winning drive, or at least they didn't have much time left. But it was going to go to overtime. But just the terrific pressure from Jalen to set up the interception, and the rest took care of itself after that point.
Right.
Obviously, the defensive player made a terrific play on that football to make the pick, but
he did.
Snead set the thing up, and just awesome to see that for him, and the legend continues. And one win away from bringing a national championship to the Lowco, which is something that Nick Pringle came close to doing. He almost did.
Very close.
Yep. And so this would be really cool. This would be very, very cool, and
it could be Jalen versus Puna in the championship.
Wouldn't that be something?
That would be
fun. That would be fun. Yep.
All right, you guys ready? You ready for this? You ready for this?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Get to the Bowman layup. God. Oh, man. They are capitalizing. And I know what their motto, their song is right now. There's a little Ja Rule right now to every little thing that you do. Every slip, every stumble, every mistake Bluffton is making right now. They're taking the ball and they're capitalizing on those mistakes right now. Hilton Head is playing with house money right now. Like I said, 3 already won here in the region, and to turn around against the squad and to be up, not by a little bit, not to be about a lead, but a double-digit lead here.
It was after Hilton Head capitalized on 3 turnovers in 1 minute.
We'll be right back after the timeout break here on Buford Zone.
Love it. I was actually watching. I wasn't at the game. I was actually watching the Buford Zone feed. I was busy writing some notes down, and I heard it, but I didn't remember. So I just remembered. Oh yeah, it was Giovanni who was saying that, and once again, great stuff, and just very, very grateful for Giovanni and company to broadcast these games, and it's just really cool what they do over there. So
Lisa Richardson and Jessa Jeremiah and I were even saying Javon and Tristan's praises with what they've been doing as well. I think Lisa was at the game today, I think, and she was texting us a little bit about them and whatnot, and I filled her in a little bit, and then Jessa did as well. Yeah, they do a wonderful job, and I only met Tristan the one time, but I've spent a little bit more time with Javon lately, especially this last football season, and they're really, really good. It's awesome, and they're colleagues and friends of ours, and there's a deep connection with us WHHIers with the fact that Tony Verga is very much in charge of what goes on over there, and he's doing amazing stuff, and great to just ingratiate the family, as it were.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm thrilled to be a part of what is a really cool collaborative environment we have going on, between what we're doing, what WHHI is doing, what Buford Zone is doing with Beaufort County TV. It's we all kind of have our lanes, our niches, and we all collaborate and make it work together. And it's cool. It's a cool thing. Yeah. Collaborative spirit. I'm about that life. We're making Javon cry. We may have to.
We do love you, Javon.
We may have to share them on Monday because it's it's even more beautiful as the love and collaboration. That's right.
Yes.
Thank you, Nisa.
Yeah, it turned out to be the friends we made along the way. Yeah.
No doubt.
But I'm having some trouble. My computer's running out of space, so I'm gonna have to offload some stuff. But I do have some highlights from the floor tonight at the Nest. Ja'Kai Morrow, former May River Hooper. His dad, Jake Morrow, on the bench for the Bluffton girls now with Coach CJ. He coached with Coach Red at Bluffton Middle last year. Ja'Kai is dabbling with the videography and stuff, and been putting out some dope reels on Instagram of Bluffton Bobcat games. And I said, he was saying he needs to get a media pass, and I said, well, guess who can get you one of those? So we got a new intern, and Ja'Kai's You guys working right now, but considering
Team Lowco.
getting back to school soon, and now I think he may be considering, or at least taking a look at, the USCB Comm Studies department. Because I was telling him, like, man, if you're into this stuff, like, you can go work those student broadcasts, work for athletics. Like, we can set you up, put you on a path to a career with this. So we'll see how it shakes out. But we do have some highlights.
That's awesome.
Forward to sharing those. So
yeah, very cool.
Round the Loco halftime show on Buford's Own. Compete with TNT. JJ Max.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love that. Yes, I like that idea.
That's true. We just make our own around here.
We need to get LowcoSports headquartered. Like, we need to get our studio going. That's the.
We need a lot more sponsors. You check
no doubt about that.
A lot more sponsors.
You check the rental prices around here lately on commercial real estate?
I've seen some that have popped up. Not very what's the word I'm looking for? Cheap.
No,
it's a bit on the pricey side of things.
A bit on the pricey side. So I don't know that we'll have a physical space anytime soon. But we'll see. Maybe
Ohio State with a big chunk.
Hey, we got this room we don't use. You can put a studio in here.
Yeah, I saw that, Marcus.
Ohio State driving.
Yeah, they are
from the 35 down to about the 12, I think.
They're on the 2 at my house.
It was Howard right up the middle.
Yeah.
Huge gaping hole. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
I mean, his legs are like the size of cannons.
Libby's dropping rhymes. Word to your moms, I came to drop bombs. I got more rhymes than the Bible has psalms.
Oh, man.
We get a studio. We should get a heater for Max. Yeah, agreed. All right. I got to be early, so I'm going to get to the last round of sponsors and then let you guys say your piece and let people go. We got the Lowco Booster Club, Court Lifestyle Pros, Daniel and Debbie Court with Charter One Realty. They want to bring you home to Hilton Head Island. Eagle Creations has promotional items and custom apparel. Check them out over on Argent Boulevard and see what they can do for you. Jay's Barbershop, place to be in Ridgeland. Go get you a haircut and some great conversation. Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country. Floor so clean, your feet will thank you. Hudson's Seafood House on the Docks, presenting sponsor of Under the Bus. New episode just out this week, so go check it out. And Hurricane Sports Cafe, the place to be if you're hungry or thirsty out in Hampton. Stop in and say hi. We got way more comments. I can sleep at the studio, Max. Who can sleep at the studio? I don't know. Heater for Max, and then a party mansion. Yep. We definitely need a party mansion.
More sponsors for that.
We're just
that's
three cool guys who want to hang out with other cool guys. Nothing sexual. That's the Always Sunny reference. We can use Charter One Realty to find a studio space or a party mansion. And till next time, guys. Appreciate you, Jovan. What you got, boys? Parting thoughts.
I tell you.
Touchdown. Buckeyes, by the way.
Buckeyes, yeah, they go up with midway through, 7:02 to go in the fourth quarter. But going back to last night and the amazing experience of seeing a guy that I covered, and not just that, but I was there at his commitment day back in the High School Media Center, and I went to cover it. And it wasn't 100% sure, but looked like leaning towards a couple of schools, and then he ended up choosing Notre Dame, and just a really awesome moment. And all Coach Payne, of course, was there, and some of the others, and we got to talk to him, and he was just really excited about the moment. And then they started to hype him up as senior year went along. He had a terrific year to wrap up his high school career for the Seahawks, and didn't start too well. There were some growing pains at Notre Dame. He's really trying to anchor down a spot, and towards the end of that first year, I thought he really started to find that role where he has really grown and continued to be a budding star on this defense. And it's just really awesome for someone who has seen him from his high school. You be here, you're here enough, you're here long enough that you're starting to cover these kids, not just through the high school level, but now through the college level. And it's just really, really awesome to witness the rise of a kid where I remember when we were talking him up very early in his career, like, look at this Jalen Sneed guy, he's going to do something. And lo and behold, not only does he make his name known at the high school level, he has certainly arrived in the college football scene, one win away from not just winning it all, but really becoming that prominent name in Notre Dame history, to be such a big part of a championship team. And no matter what happens in the next game, win or lose, he has put himself in great position for the rest of his career there, and then going forward, to potentially breaking into the league if he can continue to keep this up. And you saw the social media video, the embrace of BJ and Jalen out there after the quarterfinal win. I believe it was either the quarterfinal win or the first round win. I think, just awesome moments for both of them, and especially for Coach Payne, because that's, you just talk about how much he contributed for a bunch of these kids, and for Puna, and for Jalen, and for so many others. I mean, I look back to Michael Julian, who really did important job anchoring that program, and other guys there's been countless others throughout the years who have made the Singleton. Bryce Singleton was another, had a really good career. Morrow had another. Justin Morrow, Tyler Hampton. There's been a bunch who have really cemented themselves, and it just continues. That tradition is continued there, and just really awesome to witness it now full circle, or to see one of these high school standouts really blossom. And oh my goodness, Texas is on the move again as they take it into 30. What an amazing experience it has been to cover a guy like Jalen Sneed, and
absolutely,
it's gonna be fun. Monday the 20th, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I'm sure we'll be able to have a show that night, and to really enjoy seeing one of ours in the biggest college spotlight there is in football in Atlanta. And I'm sure a lot of family will be there for Jalen. I'm sure, obviously, Payne will be there, but I'm sure there will be some others who are friends of Jalen. I wonder if Puna's still, he is a game. He is big. He's still playing. He is taking on. He's playing for the LA Chargers in the NFL playoffs. Right. So that's
Houston.
Houston. That's tomorrow. Yeah.
Yep.
That'll be a good one.
Yeah.
Houston may just have a problem. You never know.
If they win, they would play again next weekend, but then he would still be able to go game on Monday if he wanted to, because
the divisional round would be all Saturday and Sunday.
He's big pimping, spinning G's. Yeah, he'd be big pimping BLADs. Yeah, he'd be big pimping up in the NYC. But yeah, he comes down right here. Whoa, delayed blitz. Bam.
Yeah, he waited at the right time to go and make that move. That lineman was not ready for him to make that move. He thought he was just going to stand there and just out of nowhere. Yeah, really.
Oh, Jiminy Christmas. Viewers with a huge bomb down the field to Golden. They were about the 30. Now they're to the 10.
Your feeds are way ahead.
You can't leave him that open. He's going to burn you every single time.
Yeah, now they got 3rd down and 3 from the 6.
Well, I obviously we have that, since we were gone, there's some big news in the transfer portal. Carson Beck decided to leave his declaration for the NFL draft and decided to enter the transfer portal last night. And then first thing this morning, Wes shared with us that he is committed to play next year at the University of Miami, Florida, for the U. And so big moves for Carson Beck. We'll see how he does in Miami next year. I think that's going to be a good fit for him. I'm intrigued to see what he does during his time there.
It's a Miami team that loses a guy like Cam Ward, but still has some important parts from that team last year.
I think that's the right move. I think for Carson Beck, that was the right move.
Quarterback every year.
I think that it was the right move for Carson Beck because he was, of course, injured in that SEC championship game and Gunnar Stockton came in, and of course Carson Beck ended up having to have surgery, which basically ended his season for Georgia. And of course, Georgia's season's now over after their loss to Notre Dame over a week and a half ago. And so Carson Beck decided, I'm going to declare for the NFL draft. And I wasn't sure if that was the right move for him because I thought he has some more to show. I think he still needs to show.
That was basically the advice he got was you need another year.
And I think it was the right move for him to leave his NFL draft declaration and go back into the transfer portal. And I think that was the right move. And I think Miami is going to be a great fit for him. And I think he's going to do really well in his next year at Miami.
And by the way, do you all happen to know who Miami's playing to start off the 2025 season?
Yes,
Ohio State.
Notre Dame travels to Coral Gables to take on Miami. So Notre Dame played their penultimate game in Miami, and they are opening up in Miami in August. That is going to be something.
Let's see if Marcus can keep it clean after the back-to-back pass interferences in the end zone.
Oh boy! I haven't scored yet. At least my vantage point, the second down and goal.
Yep.
So the other transfer portal news: Gaston Moore has still not decided on where he will be playing next year.
Oh no, Texas.
We have not heard any news on Gaston Moore. Hopefully, that could come soon, sooner rather than later, because eventually time's going to run out on a decision of where he can go and play for the next year. And he's going to want to go to somewhere where he's going to be able to be the starter. And I think that's the right move to make if he wants to make a move towards the NFL. So we'll see. We'll keep a very close eye on where Gaston Moore will be playing next year, and we'll obviously break that news to you guys when we do get a word that he is committed to a school. But we have not heard anything yet. And then finally, my last piece of information is not transfer portal related. It's actually related to the Tampa Bay Rays and their Tropicana field, which has been in complete and utter tatters and shreds since Hurricane Milton, and nothing has been done to fix it. Well, it has now been supported by the city of St. Petersburg to repair that stadium and the $56 million worth of damage that was bestowed upon it. And they will repair it, but unfortunately, it will not be ready until at least opening day of 2026. So they are unfortunately going to be playing. What happened? What did I just miss?
Oh my God!
Oh no!
The Buckeyes are going to the Natty.
Oh my God!
What is this? Pick six?
Oh my God!
No,
pick six either way.
Not a pick six, but
it's not much better.
Big man touchdown. It's a strip sack, 82-yard fumble return touchdown.
Oh, good night.
After the incomplete pass, I'm a little bit behind you guys. If you couldn't tell, I think I'm behind you by about 30 seconds. The incomplete pass on
third down that should have been a PI.
Right,
as the Ohio area sports announcer.
4th and goal.
I don't know how they didn't call that. That was worse than the one before that.
As the Ohio area announcers would say, "Good night, Columbus. That one is for you."
Orange Slice's mom raised $413 with a lemonade stand to repair the roof.
Holy crap! What a way to end that.
There it is. There's the fumble, and there he goes.
You're behind
go all the way.
Rumbling, stumbling into the end zone.
Poor Marcus, man. His grandparents are going to be supporting Notre Dame while he supports Ohio State.
Well, actually, and I was going to bring that up as my parting thought. I'm going to do as I normally do, and I've seen a lot of Notre Dame and Ohio State bowl games, particularly the Fiesta Bowl, in the last 20 years. So I'm going to be wearing some Notre Dame apparel, some Ohio State apparel. I've seen Ohio State win a national championship. I've seen them win a couple. The last time, and I may have mentioned this the other day, the last time that Notre Dame won a national championship, I was just in my infancy. I was in diapers.
Yeah.
My grandparents were, especially my grandfather, my paternal grandfather, diehard Notre Dame Fighting Irish football fan. He's the reason why, and he died in 2002. He's the reason why I have the connection to Notre Dame Fighting Irish football the way I do. I would love to see Notre Dame win a national championship. And if it was to happen this year, I mean, it would be great. I mean, I don't have I'll feel bad that Notre Dame gets beat if they get beat, and I'll be happy for Ohio State, of course. That's what happens when your two favorite college football teams go at it. But I would love to see Notre Dame get off the schneid, especially this year with this team, with this coach, and this environment, with the way they've been able to play ever since that Northern Illinois loss on September 7th, which, by the way, is my brother's birthday. So it's kind of all serendipitous. But regardless of how the game shakes out,
I will tell you what.
It's going to be great.
I will tell you what. The town of Hilton Island is going to be loving it. I mean, can you pick another matchup that has more ties and just more, people at bars watching?
Yeah.
Well, maybe Clemson, but or South Carolina, but Notre Dame, a school where I'm sure there's at least one bar around here in the area which has a big number of Notre Dame supporters.
There's got to be.
There is. Trust me, there is.
So this is the Hilton Head Island centric national championship game, because you have Notre Dame, huge group of fans there.
It's true, Kevin.
And
it's true.
And Ohio State. I mean,
it's
going to be rocking down here. It's going to be
pretty much.
Dude, I forgot. Maggiamo's is going to be packed on Hilton.
Lord!
Oh my Lord! I forgot about that. Yeah, they're going to be packed.
I tell you what, they have doggone good pizza too.
Sad people coming out of there drunk at the end of the.
I wonder if I'm trying to think where the Notre Dame bar is. There is one on Hilton Head. I know there is.
Definitely.
I remember Payne mentioned it once, but I do not remember where it is.
Can't be. It's not Riley's, is it?
I was thinking
Riley's is Boston.
It very well could be.
Yeah,
I hadn't heard that verbatim. That would make sense.
Riley's has all like the Boston sports memorabilia.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, but the Rileys they're good Catholic family, right?
Yeah, they're great.
I think maybe Henschie's too.
I think you're right. That's
Chicago.
The one it is, because I remember.
I'm sure.
Because
they got a great Italian beef sandwich.
Payne said there's a meetup once, like there's Notre Dame meetup, and it was at Hinchey's. So it has. I think it's that right there.
Okay.
I think it's Henschie's. Yeah.
It's be packed there. Be packed in Mangiamo's.
Henschie's versus Mangiamo.
There needs to be some kind of wager made between all American football camp participants, because it seems like there's so many that come from Notre Dame and Ohio State. Yeah.
True story. True story. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Anything else?
Not much
I'm
drama
afraid
here.
for all the people in California. The news has not gotten any better, unfortunately.
No,
obviously, for those of you who don't know, the Rams and Vikings game, of course, was supposed to be played at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, but that will not be the case. They are playing at the State Farm Stadium
in Glendale.
In Glendale. I said Phoenix earlier on our group chat, and I was completely wrong about that.
Right.
But
basically the same.
Yeah, it's close enough.
I mean, we're not gonna distinguish between Dallas and Arlington, or like Atlanta and Flowers.
I will say there are people in Texas who would, but
I know, but like,
no, we won't, of course. But I will say the other thing is, unfortunately, the fires have not been contained whatsoever.
No.
They are all still 0% contained, unfortunately, and very, very sad and extremely difficult situation. And unfortunately, the conditions sound like they are going to worsen. The winds are going to be picking up within the next week or so, which could cause those fires to spread even more faster than they currently are, which is very, very difficult to hear. And so our prayers, obviously, and our thoughts go out to the people in the Los Angeles area, including the Palisades area, as well as Hollywood Hills, Inglewood, and all those areas in the LA area that are being affected by these horrific and tragic events that are unfolding. So our prayers and thoughts go out to all of them because this is something you would never want to see or go through. But of course,
I agree with
situation.
this. Please listen to scientists and not conspiracy theorists, because I'm seeing some crazy conspiracy theories about these fires.
This is
absurd.
Yeah,
I guess Galetta's probably in that area. I never heard of that city.
So if you don't know what that post from Kevin is, apparently fire insurance were dropped.
Yep.
There were 12 companies that were offering fire insurances in California, and they were all 7 out of the 12 were all dropped right before this started. And very unfortunate. On top of all that, according to sources, the mayor of LA basically brought budget cuts to the LAFD, $49 million worth in budget cuts to the LAFD before this started as well. So the situation basically was in dire straits because the LAFD didn't have enough funding to be able to handle situations such as this. So very
but with all this sad news, there is some good gestures that organizations and teams have done. I saw today the Houston Texans have donated $1 million to provide support and resources to those that have been affected from the unfortunate fires in LA. One of many gestures today we have seen.
They're great.
I just saw Freddie Freeman had donated $300,000 to help for these situations as well, along with multiple other athletes who have been donating, and franchises as well, including the LA Rams. The LA Chargers have both donated to foundations to help these causes and these people who are in unfortunate situations. And not only that, but there have been coaches and players who have lost their homes in the LA area, including the head coach for the LA Lakers. Oh my God, I'm dropping it tonight. God, what's his JJ Redick? Unfortunately, lost his house as well. Along with multiple other athletes and coaches who have lost their homes in the Palisades area, as well as all around the LA area. So, it's not just regular people. Unfortunately, it's, celebrities and families.
I'm going to make a crazy statement here, but instead of celebrities making donations for tax write-offs when there's a disaster, we could just tax people who make hundreds of millions of dollars appropriately, and then we wouldn't have to cut the funding to the LA Fire Department.
I wasn't going to say it, but now that you've said it, thank you.
I mean, if you're going to donate the money and get a tax write-off, why didn't we just tax these people? Like, if they got $300,000 laying around to donate, then let's throw some taxes on and let's get the fire department funded. Like, Jesus. What are we doing?
But I have another piece of news related to this. Obviously because of these unfortunate fires in LA, they had to move the wild card playoff game between the LA Rams and Minnesota Vikings. They're going to play in Glendale, Arizona.
We argued with Max about Glendale versus Arizona.
Yes, but there's another something I saw on top of that. The Cardinals, obviously, who are hosting this game, they're sending they send their two of their teams' planes are being sent to LA. Picking up the Rams team, picking up their families as well, their staff, and then their pets, six dogs and 2 cats. Their pets are
awesome.
Yep.
And
they're also letting the Rams use their training facility to prepare for the game at the Cardinals complex.
Yeah, well, and deservedly so. Like the Rams. Obviously, I know they're going to be playing a playoff game this weekend, but I'm sure that's not the biggest thing that they are thinking about right now, which is so unfortunate for these players. But, it's not just the Rams. I know the LA Chargers are out of town for their game this upcoming weekend, but I'm sure players, especially like Puna Ford, And multiple other players on the LA Chargers are also thinking about the same thing. So very unfortunate situation taking place in LA, and we hope that everyone stays safe, because this is not something you ever want to see happen to people like this. I remember a good friend of my family, Larry Mann, who runs the Park Plaza movie theaters in Hilton Head.
Yes.
When the fires went through the Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge area, he lost his cabin up there, and very nice house. I've been there before, and just to see, the devastation in the Tennessee area, including the Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge area, which I've been to very many times.
That was awful.
Very, very rough to see, but this is something.
Wiped out hillbilly golf, man.
Yeah, right. And so the devastation there was unreal. But to see such an enormous populous area like LA dealing with something like this is not something you would ever want to see. And it's a very unfortunate situation. And of course, our prayers and thoughts go out to those in the Los Angeles area. So, yeah.
It is a final. Ohio State wins 28-14. Real quick, fellas, while we were talking, and you were mentioning about playoff scenarios with LA, does anybody have any Super Bowl picks? Because the playoffs do get started tomorrow.
Good question. Yeah, I know who Justin's going with.
Who you got them facing?
They're gonna be dropping confetti in the plaza again.
Who do they face, JJ?
I think the Lions. I think the Lions get through.
I think the Lions get through as well. My preseason pick was San Francisco, Baltimore, and last month I made a mulligan, and I'm gonna stick with it. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna stick with it. I like Detroit to face Buffalo, and I like the Detroit Lions to come away winners and take it all.
I mean, I could easily see Campbell doing what he does and it backfiring and them losing one along the way. But I do think the Lions are the best team in the NFC, and I don't think it's really all that close. It doesn't mean that they can't get beat any given week, but I think they're the best team.
I think the closest team to them right now would be the Vikings.
I think
the Eagles are dangerous. But their
Eagles are dangerous. That's
their
very
coach
true.
could bite them too.
I think for that reason, I would say AFC Championship game will of course be the Chiefs and the Bills. There's no doubt there.
Continuing to forget about the Baltimore Ravens. That's
during that conversation. Could we consider the Pittsburgh Steelers will be a team that people should keep?
Although the Ravens have a very tough first round matchup against the Steelers. That's like the worst possible matchup they could have had.
It is. The Ravens don't match up well with them.
Also, on top of all that, the Ravens will be without their top leading receiver for that game. Trey Flowers will be out for that game against the Steelers.
And that is a concern because they really don't have a deep.
They've relied on. I mean, Rashad Bateman's been decent.
Yeah, he's been solid, but he's not a number one.
But they don't have. They have him and Mark Andrews.
Like there's not a lot there. So
you're gonna need Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry, he needs to be there.
You're gonna need Derrick Henry to play the game of his life.
Have to be prominent on stopping Derrick Henry.
Or
and obviously
just need Russ to suck. That would work too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
And then
of course the redemption story for Russell Wilson, which is kind of you talk about the Ravens a lot, but then you forget that the Russell Wilson story. Yeah,
he had a great year.
He has, but so did Sam Darnold. And then last week, Sam Darnold looked like Jet Sam Darnold. So,
I'm really liking how Russell Wilson's really gotten back to at least what he was when he was in Seattle. Like, he's playing really good football as of lately, and actually since he became the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it's been really good to see that.
He and Sean Payton did not coexist well.
No,
they really didn't. It was just awful. I felt so bad for Russell Wilson, but
let's be real. Russell Wilson is not Drew Brees. I'm not talking about as a football player. I'm talking about as a personality. They are just
two different personalities, two different people.
I'm with the Libs. I still think Russ is cooked. I think it's been smoke and mirrors. I think their offense has not been nearly as good since Justin Fields got hurt and they weren't doing the short yardage packages for him.
Yeah.
And I'm not convinced they're that good. If they somehow knock out Baltimore, then Buffalo walks into the AFC final championship.
And for that reason, I think Baltimore's in serious trouble in that game if the Pittsburgh Steelers show up and actually play football properly, because they did lose to the Cincinnati Bengals for their last game of the season. So I'm intrigued to see what they do. For that reason, I think the AFC Championship game will be the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. And then the NFC Championship game for me would be the Detroit Lions and the Eagles. I think Detroit wins the NFC.
Orange, the one versus
AFC. I think Kansas City will get back at Buffalo for the loss that they had during the regular season. As much as I hate to say that, Justin, stop pumping your fists.
I just feel the thing about the Chiefs is
we are invincible.
Yeah, and the problem is I feel like they've been winning, but just by the bare margins. Which there are two things to say about that.
That's the
one
other
is
thing.
that they know how to win close games. Number two, when will that luck run out? Because Buffalo has
could be Buffalo.
We drained it all out last week against Denver. We just drained it. Wow.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that.
Mahomes has looked Cuban at times this year, but
I don't know. I feel a strange confidence about it. Like, I think it mostly comes from the comfort of having won 2 in a row.
Yeah.
It's like,
by the way, Travis Kelce also hasn't had a great season either.
He hasn't, but you know what? Justin Watson makes big plays down the field as a tight end too, and so does Noah Gray. Andre Hopkins has been a godsend, and now Pacheco's back. Hollywood Brown's back.
Because the Chiefs know how to win.
Coming back.
Because the Chiefs this season have figured out a way to win close games somehow. I think for that reason, I think it's going to be a close game against Buffalo, and I think the Chiefs get the advantage this time around and beat Buffalo. But I think the moment they get to the Super Bowl,
as good as it gets in crunch time.
Yeah, but I think the moment they get to the Super Bowl, I think Detroit beats the Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, and I do see it. I think Detroit's had a better season than Kansas City. I really believe that. Despite all the injuries, somehow Detroit's been the best team.
I love them. They're the most fun.
The story. Love the vibes over there at Detroit, and the belief of these guys in the locker room, and then just the play of that offense. I mean, it's just so much fun.
Agreed. I agree with you completely, Wes. And I think for that reason, I think they have had a better season as a team than the Kansas City Chiefs this year. I fully believe that. I really do.
Is there a chance Hutchinson could return at some point, or is he done?
I don't know.
I think from what I've heard, there's a chance that he could return for the Super Bowl if they get there.
That was the last thing I heard.
That's what I heard too.
At best, he could, and when I say could, I do mean could, like ever so slight chance, he could be ready for the NFC Championship game.
Here's the headline. Here's the headline. Dan Campbell emphasizes Aiden Hutchinson has season-ending injury, but Lions not ruling him out.
That sounds right.
He said, he has a season-ending injury, but if anybody can come back from it, it'd be Aiden.
He can.
You never know. After the We did not think he was coming back. I don't think anyone thought he was coming back at all. And I think for that reason, I was like, I'm ruling him out. But they're like, he could be back for the Super Bowl. But why?
That's a good point. Yeah. Lions OC focused on job interviews.
I will say, speaking of job interviews, I did see the Chicago Bears have interviewed Pete Carroll. They're also asking the Dallas Cowboys to interview Mike McCarthy for some reason. I don't understand why Mike McCarthy has not been a great coach as of late. I don't think he deserves to remain the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
I think we could be completely honest. Yeah, well, maybe not, but I don't know that we can say he's not been a good coach lately.
He's been okay, but like I wouldn't say he's been
pretty
great.
good. I think Dallas has a much bigger problem in higher management that unfortunately is not going to change because of the fact that the guy. No, it's on Jerry Jones.
I agree with you on that.
But Jerry Jones is the owner and GM, so he's not going to fire himself.
So Matt,
why is he still the GM?
I bring this up because I heard this stat the other day and it blew my mind. I did not realize it. So they went 7-10 this year, but the last 3 years they were 12-5 all 3 years.
Yeah, so they were.
He has had success. And in spite of
the other reason they went 7-10 this year is because Dak Prescott got hurt halfway through the year, and that was a big loss.
Right. So I think that team winning 7 games this year was pretty
impressive.
And Dallas kind of improved as they got like they were more competitive late in the year.
Very true.
And they also got Trey Lance into a couple of games.
I guess what I'm saying is if somebody wants to hire Mike McCarthy other than Dallas, he should absolutely go.
Heck yeah.
Oh yeah. I agree. If the Chicago Bears want him, take him. I mean, like if he gets the chance and Dallas doesn't want him, Chicago Bears, by all means, try to find a way to get your franchise back on the right track. And I think with Caleb Williams at your helm, I think it's going to be a huge help to have a great coaching staff at hand for a young quarterback.
So I heard on Pablo Torre today them talking about this, and I guess part of the problem is Jerry's going to have to pay him more than he wants to pay him now, just because there's no other veteran coaches out there with his kind of pedigree out there.
Pete Carroll would be the only other coach.
Yeah, but he ain't going.
Uh-oh, Justin. He might be gone. Hold on. Let's check, make sure. Well, he might be gone. I think he was. We were going to talk about McCarthy and his like. I actually did. I think I watched the same thing Justin was watching, and that was Mike McCarthy obviously is going to ask for more money now, and like Justin said, there isn't many other veteran coaches out there because Bill Belichick is no longer on the market. He's at North Carolina. So he's off.
Well, there were rumors that he might. There were rumors that maybe NFL teams were calling him. NFL teams are calling him and saying, maybe.
But I think he's already. I think he's. Yeah. Unfortunately, Wes. Like I agree with you. Like there's probably going to be teams calling him saying, "Hey, are you interested?" But I think at this point, Justin's gone. I think at this point.
Yeah, he's.
Oh, okay.
Computer died. He wants us to take the rest of the show.
Yeah, I think for him, I think Bill Belichick at this point is already committed. He's on the road recruiting for North Carolina at this point, and I think he's already too deep in to take offers for NFL jobs. Yeah. And he's signed a 5-year deal. Like I think he wants to stay there and try coaching and being successful at the college level. And I think it's great to see that out of Bill Belichick. I'm excited to see what he can do at North Carolina. So for those reasons, I think if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you're going to have to find a way to keep Mike McCarthy. You don't want him to leave.
I mean, like who else is out there in the open market that would be a better?
Pete Carroll is the only other option I see right now. Pete Carroll is the only other option unless you go to someone younger and less experienced. And I think for the Dallas Cowboys case, they can't. They need to have that veteran experience.
I mean, yeah, I understand the debate about Pete Carroll, but I kind of feel like you have to continue the momentum from what you had from at the end of last year, from this past year, and you just hope you can get. I think it's a big offseason. Like you need to get some more pieces. I'm not sure about their cap situation or how much they have to spend in terms of free agents, but they could definitely use a couple more pieces to really refine the roster, and then at that point, it's all about can you guys stay healthy and. Dak Prescott, when he has stayed healthy, is given like they've made the playoffs most years when he has been healthy, and then they have I wonder what they'll do with the running back because I don't think Dowdle or Zeke Elliott. I don't think they're the long term answer.
I think Dallas is gonna have to figure out a few things, and unfortunately, when you have Jerry Jones as your general manager, it just doesn't end well. He just doesn't. He doesn't know it anymore. Like he needs someone who knows what the NFL landscape is currently at right now. And I don't think Jerry Jones knows that.
I wonder if he was to let his ego get out of the way and his pride get out of the way, if he would just tell his son Steven, okay, he's back.
boy's
If
still
he would
talking.
just tell his son Steven, let's see what you can do. Yeah, I'm done. See what you can do to get these Cowboys
and I think
going again.
And I think that's because the Dallas, they have the weapons, they have the talent on both sides of the ball. But the problem is being able to keep that talent there. And I think it's going to get to the point, if they don't figure something out soon, it's going to get to the point where players are going to want to leave Dallas, unfortunately, even if they're getting paid enough. They want to play on the team that's going to be able to contend in the NFL playoffs and be Super Bowl contenders, but they need the right coaching staff. And I agree. I think Mike McCarthy right now is the best choice for Dallas because there's not really many other options out there, And we've iterated that already, with Bill Belichick off the block.
I think we should just send. I think we should just send Dion and Shedeur to Dallas and just keep all the circus in one place.
No,
that would be interesting.
No,
get a lot of hits on YouTube.
Let them go to freaking Las Vegas. Let them spend their money in Las Vegas.
That would make a lot of sense, and that
would actually
look like it might.
Believe it or not, because there are now some draft boards that's saying, Shedeur Sanders could potentially be going to Las Vegas.
Because the Lakers just started firing people left and right. All of a sudden, they're doing something.
Because they fired Antonio Pierce, and then immediately, 2 days later or something like that, they fired the general manager for the Raiders. So they want a new regime. And
they fired the coach and announced they were keeping the general manager, and then they fired him 2 years.
Then they fired the general manager.
They're doing something. They're doing something.
And I think
bound to be crazy because Mark Davis. You've seen his haircut. That man's not making rational decisions.
Yeah, Mark Davis, I think, has gotten to the point where he's like, I need this team to actually compete and be able to be, a competitor.
I think you just need them to be relevant. They're just
they want to be relevant. The problem they're having right now is they're probably in one of the tougher divisions in the AFC right now because they're stuck with the Denver Broncos but they're stuck with the Denver Broncos, the LA Chargers, and the Kansas City Chiefs. They need to be able to compete with those guys, and it's going to be difficult to be able to compete with those guys if you don't have the right coaching staff as well as the right players. Now, I will say, them getting Brock Bowers, I think, was a great move for them in last year's NFL draft because he had heck of a rookie season, breaking records as well, rookie records. So I think them getting Brock Bowers is going to help the next coaching staff come in and know that they have weapons that they can use, hopefully. So we'll see what they do, but there's no doubt they're going to go after a quarterback, and I think Shedeur Sanders might be the right option. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he'd be hitting up that Great Clips, man.
And Kev, no doubt that the Belichicks have Tobacco Road, and they're going to be rolling Tobacco Road on the football field. But don't forget about Hubert Davis in North Carolina.
Speaking of Tobacco Road, I mentioned earlier today on our group chat that the Wake Forest head coach Dave Clawson has stepped down as head coach after 11 years of being the head coach for Wake Forest football. So they will be in search of a new head coach. Who that may be, I have no idea.
And I'm curious if it will impact Chris Marable and whether he stays put there.
That's true.
That's a great question.
Anytime you have a coaching change in the portal era, you
never know. That can really sway an opinion of player to stick around
with the program. Yep.
I mean, it just depends. It depends on why he went there. Did he go there because of the coach or because of the place?
The program.
It's
going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting offseason. A lot of new coaches. For some reason, the New York Giants are staying with Brian Drabble. I don't know why.
Well, they went under the bus. They went under the bus for that Wednesday night.
Oh, yeah, they did. I saw that. And rightfully so, because what has he done in his time with the Giants? It's not like the Giants front office has helped him at all. They had decided to sign Daniel Jones to a contract that was way too much for what he was doing.
Well, and the man doesn't. He has no personality. Just boring to me. But
he's boring.
He's not here, man. He's not here, man. That's what they're saying in Wake Forest.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Dave's not here, man. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of interesting things. I was hoping Brian Drabble would be on the chopping block this year, but apparently not. I don't know why they're giving him another year. He has not done anything in his time in New York. And the situation that New York's been dealing with for almost the past decade plus has not gotten any better.
They need a QB, but they need a lot of things.
Yeah,
you know what they really need? They could really use a really good elite running back like Saquon Barkley.
Yep. What a
that was their biggest. That's the biggest.
Actually, I was really impressed with Tyrone Tracy this year. I thought he actually emerged and was really strong.
He did really good
at the end, but he wasn't.
They also need a receiving core, which they don't have much.
They got Malik Neighbors now. Malik Neighbors.
They got Neighbors, but they need more. They need more than just Neighbors, though.
Well, yeah,
they need more than just Neighbors.
They need an offensive line.
They need an offensive line. They also need a defensive line too, because apart from Dexter Lawrence,
it does have to have both.
Yeah. It's just such a mess over there, and I don't know why the general manager hasn't been fired or the head coach. It's
when you got the New York Jets who have their own issues. So.
Oh yeah, the Jets aren't any better. I mean, the Jets are in there.
Eli Manning isn't walking through that door. Yeah, but in a couple years, Arch could.
Arch could very well.
He could.
That's a good point, but I don't know if they want to wait that long. I don't think they're going to wait that long to grab Arch Manning. They need a quarterback, and they need one now.
Yeah, they do.
Because
but I mean, this one could have already failed by then.
Just need a bridge guy or whatnot for a year.
If you're a New York fan, I'm so sorry that you guys have dealt with the devastating.
They can go take Kirko chains off your hands.
Yeah.
They can pay way too much money to take
Instead of calling them the Jets and Giants, you might as well call them the Dwarfs and Biplanes at this point, because it's just so bad over there.
Dwarfs and Biplanes.
Yeah. Dwarfs and Biplanes, because that's what they are. The Giants are dwarfs. They don't do anything in the NFL, and the Jets aren't soaring anywhere.
It took me a second to wrap my head around that one, but that was pretty good. Biplanes.
I'm not even a New York football fan, and even I am angry about this. I don't. Anyway,
the Jets QB isn't sending D picks yet. I'm surprised, honestly, that he hasn't. I expect that.
You know where Aaron Rodgers' next destination is. It's got to be the Vikings. You know,
I thought it was Jeopardy. I thought it was going to be Jeopardy.
Oh yeah, he was going to be the Jeopardy host. What was that?
I thought it was.
And then he went.
Oh, Rodgers,
the opposite of Jeopardy. He went full blown crazy conspiracy theorist. He's
living on that island.
He's a weirdo. Why so many people watch?
What was that retreat? What was that retreat he went on for 2 weeks where he had no internet or whatever it's called?
Yeah, the blackout, whatever.
He went on his ayahuasca retreat.
What?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
because that definitely helped him this year.
All right, boys, let's call it a night. Bus comes at 7. Thanks so much to all of our sponsors, especially the OGs Mickelson Law Firm. We'd love to get some more in here. If you want to become a sponsor, if you know Max, get in touch with him. If you know Wes, get in touch with him. If you know me, get in touch with me. Hit us up at LowcoSports@gmail.com. Let's get these boys some heating and air conditioning, a little money in their pockets, no walking around money. We need to get them something beyond free admission to the games.
I won't say I've warmed up from talking about the Giants and Jets. So
there you go. Yeah, he got his blood pumping.
That's what it's about.
To all of our friends who showed up to hang out, especially Kevin Libby with his D-Picks comments. And, I mean, an ayahuasca retreat, I'm not totally opposed
and
to.
Javon Livingston.
No, I'm not either.
And thanks Javon
Livingston for everything he does. His great comments earlier. He checked out when we got the parting thoughts and missed the last hour of the show. But Misa Garzon, he brought a little spice to our lives tonight. Thanks to everybody who is part of our community. We appreciate it.
And hey, Monday night power rankings. We could have some shakeups.
Yes, sure. Yeah, Sunday we'll have Soundtrack Rewind Sunday night. They got another game tomorrow against Georgia Southwestern on the road. And then Monday night, LowcoSports Lowdown. We're gonna bust out some new power rankings. So be sure to join us, check it out. You gonna be here, Marcus?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We may have to get that new intro. bust it out for you. But thanks so much, everybody. It's been great. Have a great weekend. Be safe out there. It's cold, it's wet, it's slippery. But be sure to make your way back here. So for Wes Kerr, Max Farage, and Marcus Walsh, and all of our friends and Team Lowco and family, till next time, go Lowco. I don't have my thing ready.
The LowcoSports Lowdown podcast is a production of Lowco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing.